Let's go.
Okay, I won't try to dance, y'all. Welcome, world. Welcome to Live with Candice and Kris. As you can see, it's just Candice today, but the show must go on. So we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to do just a big mashup rundown of what's going on in media, and I'm ready to get started. Let's get into it. Let's start with the breakdown. Over 150 cases have been reported on North Carolina State University's campus, according to an investigation. So toxic chemicals have been activated and actually tested on the campus. Now, it is 150 cases of new students that have Kansas. Now, they have not been able to identify or really link the two together. They're just going through the preliminary testing. So on the campus is what's called PCBs, which is known as polycarbonate biphenyls. Now, these are the actual things, the actual scents and oxygen and stuff that you'll find in your hazmat, in your air conditioning ducts. Y'all stay with me. You'll find it in your air conditioning ducts, and laboratories have tested and said it's in the air. A portion of the school campus has been closed down because of it. Now, students have said they have had things like runny noses, sneezing, itching, but tests do not confirm that it's because of this. In August of 2023, also, the North Carolina State employees reported concerns on Poe Hall, which is the school's main campus. In November, the university decided to do a full testing, conducted a full case study, and they did found that it was in the air. Now, you know, a lot of HVCs that are in buildings, especially older buildings, they usually have that in it, and that's where you'd also find mold and different breathing situations that do affect you. Now, some of those students, like we said, have not exactly been linked because of that outbreak, but they're still testing it. But as of now, the university has decided to actually close Poe Hall. So we're going to move on. So if you think the world is getting scary, it really is, especially when you just can't walk out and come back in. A 17-year-old young girl in Queens, New York, took her dog out for a walk. It was 9 a.m. in the morning. This is the beautiful mom that actually saved her daughter. But before I go any further, I want you to take a look at this video and exactly how alarming and easy this is, because this is something that happens all the time. As she was coming back, she got to her door and the assailant jumped down the top of the steps and grabbed her. Thank goodness she was able to scream out for help, and her mom came running out of the apartment. But before mom could actually help her, he kept on punching the young girl in her face, where she actually has damages to her face. You'll see once we were able to get that video up in those images, and she has a broken torso. Thank God for a good neighbor, a good Samaritan that actually heard what was going on and actually came to her rescue. Now, if you think about it, this is a 17-year-old girl. How brazen and just out of this world does someone have to be to do this? Now, the fact that it happened at 9 a.m. in the morning, obviously we can think that this person was following her, right? Ladies, we have to be safe at all times. We have to watch our surroundings. But here's what's really, really scary about this story, because he had everything figured out. Not only did he grab her from behind, kicked her in her face, kept on actually beating her in his parked car that he had waiting. Had he gotten away with it, was sleeping pills, melatonin, tampons, a bag with a rope, and all of this was found in his vehicle. So he had this deliberate plan all for this young girl. My heart goes out to the family because, like I said, this is something that happens a lot. We do have the video. Please take a look at this. Now, here he is. She just got back to the apartment. He grabs her downstairs. Now, the dog needs to be fired. We need to get another dog. We need a pit bull. Mom is able to run down the steps after her, and that's when a neighbor came in and actually held him down until police got there. But like I said, what if it didn't happen? Now, look at this dog. He's just watching. If we're going to have dogs, lady, please let it be a big dog. I have a little Frenchie. My Frenchie wouldn't do anything but bark. But thank goodness that she is okay. And he didn't get away with it. I can only imagine if he did. So let's skip on over to another state, Atlanta. You now rate 3 on the list, 3 on the statewide list for the most HIV cases, followed by second is Memphis, and number 1 is Miami, South Break Central. Y'all partiers like to party, but that's probably not the place to go right now. So cases in Atlanta have been steadily rising. According to the Center of Disease Control, the metro Atlanta area especially. Now, according to numbers from 2021, cases have gone up 1,500 reported 2021. 2023, it has almost been 3,000 cases. So once again, you have to get tested. But the problem that they're really facing in Atlanta right now is access to health care. Now, that's not just access to health care as far as HIV is concerned, but that's general actual health care. And this is why this coming election is so important to vote, because these are the things that you're voting on. Access to health care, Medicaid, Medicare, in cities that are so populated and people are just not getting the help. So, hey guys, it's definitely time to wrap it up. I'm glad that Miami was shut down for spring break, because those numbers probably would have been astronomical. But you gotta be careful. You gotta be concerned. Now, what they're saying also, Medicaid expansion. Now, a lot of people in the state are advocating for that, which it needs to be done really in every state, not just Atlanta, even Florida, because people are not getting adequate health care. But we hope that they can find a way to do it, and hopefully they can get off the list. I remember a long time ago, New York was top of the list. This was years ago. And I would expect that from a really populated city like that. But Atlanta, come on, guys, we got to do a little bit better. So in case you haven't heard, last night, deadly storms actually ripped through Georgia and Illinois, causing massive destruction to homes and properties. Thank goodness, only one dead. And our prayers go out to that person, but the storm was so powerful that it ripped straight through. And Ohio Valley also had multiple damages as well. The storm also went through Jefferson, Indiana, killing 10 people. Now, the governor, Jim Justice, has declared a state of emergency just on Tuesday for Lincoln and Nicholas counties. At least 13 homes were damaged. Now, we're getting a lot of rain here where we are. So, whenever there's a storm, there's a hurricane, there's a tornado, it kind of spreads right across. I'm not your weatherman, but I'm here to give you the weather. Oh, and listen out, there's a tsunami coming, but it's not for us. So don't worry about it. We're just going to go ahead and move on. Michigan governor. So this is the first time that the governor signed the act to decriminalize paid surrogacy contracts. It is one that finally is going to protect people that need surrogacy. You got to remember, surrogacy is for people who are unable to have their own children, where a donor actually carries that child. Now, in some states, there are no laws, there are no holes when it comes to that. People can get contracts. Well, the state of Michigan is saying that they're definitely signing that package that intends to protect families using surrogacy and fertilization. Now, abortion, human rights, women's rights is a huge issue right now. It is sweeping the nation. It's the highest on one of the ballots. It's a conversation for every single state, and it's a race to see who's going to get the most votes, who's going to be able to win the people. Well, right now, Governor Whitmore is winning because she outlawed the prescribed 1-year jail time that it would have been, plus a $10,000 fine had she not actually adjusted this bill. Now, remember in February, the Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos and have certain legal protections, meaning if you have a frozen embryo right now and you decide not to have it fertilized, you decide you don't want to go that route anymore, now there's legal implications in so many states. So it really is a race to the ballot. Our rights are completely out of whack. Now, you have to make sure that you check your state, check to see what those precautions are, check to see what those new bills are, because they're constantly increasing. This is why I cannot stress enough, you have got to vote. You cannot have a voice if you're not a part of it. All these issues that we talk about, Medicare, access to health care, IVF rights, women's rights, our bodies. You have to be a part of that. This is one of the most important election years that there is. Black people, our hearts, our families, our time is on the line. And if we are not standing up at those polls, and if we're not speaking to our governors, if we're not speaking to our politicians, and we're not telling them that we demand a better source, better outcomes, better people on the ground helping us, then what is the point? You got to get out there and vote. You're going to keep hearing us talk about advocacy. You're going to hear us talk about abortion rights. It is a big ticket right now, and states are running to see who can outdo each other. This is a Democratic race. It's a Republican race, and it's not going to stop until you get out there and you actually vote. Congratulations to Governor Whitmore. She stood up for the families that cannot have kids on their own. IVF is protected, surrogacy is protected, and she made sure that in her state, she stood up for the woman that can't stand up for herself. And we need to do that in every single state. Listen, guys, I don't want you to go anywhere. We have an amazing guest coming up, Sierra Range, who is a ghost writer for these celebrities. We're going to have a sit-down, in-depth conversation with her when we return. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, man. The Candice Kris Show. Let's go. Come on, come on. Hey, man. The Candice Kris Show. Hey, man. The Candice.
Welcome back to the show. It's my favorite time. I get to speak to people. We're here with Unfiltered, and I have none other than the ghostwriter of all time for the celebrities, honey, Miss Sierra Range. Look, y'all gotta excuse me today, because the peanut butter that's stuck in my mouth all throughout the show is just going like this. But it's okay. We gotta continue. So she's a celebrity ghostwriter, author, coach, brand strategist, book publisher, and CEO of Live Limitless Media. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Girl, you know, you ever have those days that it just seems like your teeth is stuck to your lip, like Like, those are one of those days.
Oh,
This is why live shows are so precious.
Well, you get to be raw and
I
authentic.
know. Well, you look amazing.
Thank you. So do you.
I'm so excited to have you because I want to know all about ghostwriting because I see it always like in the news and you hear stories about it. So I'm always like, okay, what exactly is that?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, it's actually really simple. It's
Okay.
just someone who has the unique skill to write on someone else's behalf.
Okay.
Oftentimes, ghostwriters, we don't get credited for our work. And
Oh.
so our gift is being able to listen intuitively and intently to our clients
Okay.
and be able to craft stories, help them decide which stories are most relevant.
Right.
And a lot of times I do that uniquely with crafting brand stories. And so I help my clients to turn their personal stories into business and brand assets. And you know, you do it without credit. And so you're often in the
Right.
background writing the stories. Most of my clients are highly successful CEOs and celebrities. So they may not necessarily have the time to write, which keeps me working.
I love it. I'm here for it. Okay. So I still so many questions, but before we even go any further, ghostwriter, that's constant writing. I could barely write in scripts. I barely write a letter. Like, how did you develop? Because that has to be a love to do that.
I think I would say it's definitely a gift. You know, I started out as a speaker.
Okay.
And so I was an inspirational speaker traveling all over. I ended up writing my very first book through a different publisher. And then the thing is, I built a brand before brands were like this very popular thing back in 2013.
Right.
And so I had established my Live Limitless brand. And it was all about empowerment. I was empowering people, but I was broke. I wasn't making any money. And so I was this truly empowered person without a lot of income. And so one of my mentors at the time was like, you got to figure out a way to focus on revenue generating activities.
Right.
So what is your skill? How do you make money? I'm like, well, I'm a great writer. And so I started writing for other people and coaching them through the author process, the book publishing process. And the company just kind of evolved into what it is today. It started out as an inspirational empowerment agency, then author coaching. And these are some of
this.
Yeah.
Come on, this is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you have so much more under your belt.
Yes, close to 100 books that I've been able to write and cultivate. And
wow.
yeah, it takes a lot of energy, I would say, because I pour myself so much into my clients. And there's just a lot that goes into being able to spend so much time with the person, draw their stories out of them.
Right.
So a lot of times people know they want to write a book, but they're not quite sure what to say, how to say it, what's relevant, what's necessary. And so I'm able to help them pull that stuff out and write it. So it's a lot of work.
But it pays off.
It pays off very well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm the poor motivator. I won't say poor because you're not supposed to call yourself poor.
Not at all.
The broke motivator.
Overcoming income challenges.
Okay, say that again a little bit louder for the people in the back.
We're overcoming income challenges. We're never broke.
Come on.
Because words matter. And this is coming from a communication strategist.
It does. And that's why you got to be careful what you
Yeah.
speak over yourself, even your
Absolutely.
kids.
Oh, absolutely.
The people around you. That's so important. So, okay, ghostwriting for celebrities. That's a whole nother echelon. That's another level. So how did that start? Or maybe I should ask, who was your first celebrity? I know you just did a book with Timbaland. You just did work with Timbaland, right?
Yes, I work a lot with Timbaland on the brand strategy side.
Okay.
So I kind of connected with Timbaland through his fiance. She was one of my authors, Michelle Dennis, who's the author of Adopting Courage.
Okay.
And so I was working very closely with her and was able to cultivate a relationship with him. And now I'm able to negotiate 7- and 8-figure brand partnerships for him and other entities. And so it's just one of those things where, like, I started out as an empowerment brand and then an author coach and then a book publisher and then a ghostwriter. And now I'm negotiating 6-, 7-, and 8-figure brand partnerships. So it's one of those things that kind of evolves.
Okay.
If you would have asked me what I was planning to be.
This wasn't it.
This wasn't it.
Okay.
I couldn't have even prayed for this. I was a correction officer down at 33rd, and I started out doing corrections in Maricopa County.
You're too nice.
Until it's time not to be nice.
I would be like, girl, I'm on the bus. I'll be right there. I can't see it.
Yeah, I did corrections
wow.
almost 7 years, 5 years in the juvenile sector out in Arizona.
Wow.
And then I did a 1.5 years here, but You know, I wanted to apply my gifts in a different way. I was passionate about helping people with rehabilitation,
Okay.
but in the adult correction system, you're not able to really do that. It's called inmate fraternization, and it's actually against the laws.
Yeah, it is, especially when you end up doing stories about the guards and
You see what
the
I'm
jail
saying?
people running away and getting married. There was a big story like that
Whoa,
last year.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
That
It wasn't
happens
for
a
me.
lot.
That environment was not for me. I couldn't be creative. Then I was
Right.
working the overnight shift. Then my little brother was working there, and
Oh, wow.
it was just a lot.
That's a
I wanted to
lot.
protect my little brother. I'll be getting myself in trouble because, like, don't talk crazy to my little brother.
Well, I see the guns out. Like you definitely got that. You definitely got that. So how do you balance staying true to your clients' stories? Because I can tell you my story, right? And I know that you're gifted to, curate it and put it together. But how do you stay true to what they want? Does it take a lot of speaking to them? Do you follow them? What does that look like?
So I don't necessarily follow them, but I do spend a lot of time listening to them very
Okay.
intuitively, right? And so also understanding what their goals are. So we don't want to just write a story. A lot of times we're also building influential brands and
Okay.
creating revenue generating activities around their business as a book. And so just having a comprehensive understanding of what their
Right.
story is, what their brand goals are, and how they want to make money. So
Okay.
staying true is just a matter of just really listening and being able to execute on their goals and to
Right.
help them see that vision through to the finish line.
Okay, so let's say, can anyone contact you that do you wait, did y'all see the face? She was about to say, not get your coins right. Get your coins right. Okay, not anybody who wants to make a cookbook or, not that a
we've done
cookbook is
cookbooks.
wrong.
We've done
But
cookbooks.
not I see Jane Rum. I know not like that.
So this is
but-
what I would say, right? Because everybody has a story.
Right.
And so I would say my ideal client, right,
Yes.
is someone who not only has a story, but has
Okay.
experienced some level of transformation around their story.
Got you.
So if you're still in it, let's continue to work on it. I like to work with people who are on the outside of it because we focus on
Right.
books that provide solutions.
Okay,
and if you're
that's
still in the
good.
pit of your story, you're not really able to offer a solution,
Right.
which makes it really hard for us to build credibility around your story and build a brand.
Right.
And so a lot of times I would tell my clients, if you are still in the midst of your story, meaning you haven't experienced the transformation required to offer a solution, then you're not quite ready yet, right?
That's
This is the time
true.
to continue to learn because when we're going through
Right.
our writing process, we're extracting the lessons. But if you're still learning them, then it's going to be really hard for us to apply it and for your reader to learn from it.
That's really good because it's almost like someone who's in a relationship. They just got out the relationship and they run in another relationship and then
See?
they're preaching.
You preaching, but you haven't learned yet. That's the thing. So that's like
No.
leading and bleeding. Like you have to learn first. And I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to really
Right.
to really be honest with yourself about where you are in your journey. One of the things I tell my clients all the time is be willing to submit to the season that you're in. And it's okay to
like
be in a
that.
season of learning,
I like
growing,
that.
listening. And this is something that came up recently, like when you're going to new levels,
Right.
you may have graduated and mastered your last level, but you come into the new level as a beginner. And so we see people make the mistake of they want to get in the room, and once they're there, you come in, you talking and running your mouth, and it's like, no, when you come into a new level, enter new rooms and new spaces, you're a beginner. It's time to
Yeah,
learn, listen and learn and get a better understanding of how to position yourself in that room.
Ooh, I
So
love
submitting
that.
to the season, I think it's incredible wisdom to apply
Okay.
for whatever part of our lives. Just being willing to submit to where you are and having a gross understanding of where am I in my life, what
Right.
lessons are needed, what skills, what relationships are required, because
like
relationships
that.
are everything.
Right. And it's funny that you say relationships. So we're going to jump into a story real quick, and this is all about relationships. So recently, oh, my girl, Angel Reese, don't do
Love
her
her.
so bad. Don't do my girl like that. So recently, she played on Monday night. She lost to the team that she was playing. And I mean, they treated her so bad. They dragged her all over social media. Take a look at this video and what she had to say.
I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and not be there for them. So I just want them to always just know, I'm still a human. all this has happened since I won the national championship. And I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. Been through so much.
And we don't have time to play her teammate Flo J's response.
I loved her
which
response.
was so powerful. She came out and she defended her and said, hey, I love her. I'm going to stand up for her. And that's what relationships are all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This clip was very touching because there is a cost that comes with greatness.
Exactly.
There's a cost to greatness, right? And it comes with the criticism, but you have to learn how to resist the urge to be impacted by other people's applause, because if you live from their applause, you'll die from their criticism. I would have wanted to see Angel Reese keep the same energy she had when she was doing this in the girls' space. Like, you win some, you lose some, but still stand on it, you know, keep that same energy.
This is how we going out. Keep that same energy. You win some, you lose some. Thank you so much for being on our show today. The time goes so fast, but I definitely am going to invite you back when we have more time with you.
I would love to.
To pick that creative brain. But guys, that's our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with so much more. Bye, y'all.